Great question. I think that any coach, any coaches, I think that are successful, part of that piece is getting to know your players, not only as football players, but as people. And with that comes a certain amount of investment. You invest in their life. In this program, it's not just about X's and O's. I think that we do a good job of loving, serve, and care is a term that I use. Those are three, in my opinion, great qualities of leadership. And I think kids got to buy into you before they ever want to go out and really play for you. And so it's important that, we show them that, we're here to help them be the absolute best person you can possibly be. Just so happens that we're football coaches. I'm a football coach and you're a football player. But that doesn't define you as success or failure. And so, we want to teach them about life. We want to share our experiences. We want to be compassionate. We want, sometimes it's just you come in and you know that the kid's not the same cheery, chirpy kid that he is, and you can read him and understand. And sometimes it's a girlfriend. Sometimes it's mom and dad. Sometimes it's a test. Sometimes it's a rejection of a date, whatever it might be, But it's important. I think there's a lot of hats that a coach wears in terms of being a father figure, being a mentor, and being a coach. In a game situation, it's live bullets, it's going fast, communication happens fast. Kids are playing for the first time at the varsity level. You're playing against a great team that is experienced, that has a bunch of veterans on there. So obviously the communication that was going on, how we're getting plays in and out, both offensively, defense, substitutions, all those things factor in. There's a, as you've learned and as you've been around, there's a big juggling piece that goes on in the course of a game. It's a lot different than the average fan really understands. And so obviously they're super talented, and they're a veteran group, and they executed, and the quarterback was on target, and they made plays. And at the end of the day, you win and lose because one team makes less mistakes than the other, and the other team makes more plays. And I think it was an eye-opener for a lot of our kids, just in terms of, holy cow, this is what I thought I knew that I didn't know, or maybe how you prepared for that game, and then the execution and the speed of the game. All those things factor in. So I think it wasn't just necessarily if you look, it's really, I look at the body of work from the very first game all the way through to the very end. And what I saw is a team that, I'll use that term again, growth, that really grew from baby steps all the way to where we could start to be fairly sophisticated at the end of the season. And that's a testament to how the kids work, how the kids prepare, being comfortable with us as coaches, being comfortable with the scheme, execution of the scheme. Because you got to remember, everything was brand spanking new, and a lot of what these kids learned and what they've been taught was so much different than anything they've ever been accustomed to. I don't know if there's really one game particularly that stands out. I think that there's different games where different players shine, which was cool to see. I think if you remember back at the beginning of the year when we sat down and talked, I said, when the lights go on, one or two things happen. You either shine or you just kind of dim out, and you fade away. And it was neat to see the development of obviously a guy like, Grant Calcaterra, obviously well-known name, but to really see his growth, me personally, at his position and his understanding of the game. And he grew a lot this year. Obviously, Richard Wagner had a tremendous year. I just found out the other day that, of all the quarterbacks that have been through here, he has the best completion percentage of anybody that's ever played the game here since 1987, and which doesn't surprise me, So a lot of good things transpired. Obviously, Malone Matele with his kick return prowess. We didn't really know that about him at the beginning of the year, and you saw it against Mission, and King had a big return for our punt return. But there's a number of things. Chad Magyar, who we thought was a defensive player at the beginning of the year, and coming on and rushing for 1,000 yards. And really the development, I think, if there's one group that from the beginning to the end, I thought made the biggest stride. It would be the offensive line. That was obviously a point of concern for us coming into the season, and I thought they performed. And especially losing a guy like Bobrook at the beginning, first game or that practice after, and so we dealt with a lot of that early on. We lost Spinosi in the very first game, and so I think it was the neat thing is that. I think we were able to show the kids that we're not going to worry about things that we can't control. And so the next guy has to step up. The next guy has to learn. You got to deal with the situation head on. And it was an opportunity for other guys to shine. And so I don't know that I could pick one moment. I think, as we're sitting here talking, I think the Loyola game offensively was kind of really the kind of aha moment for us, oh, this is how it works, this is how we do it, these are the keys and the reads, and here's what happens when you execute. And again, it's about making plays. But that was a big game for us. And then Alemany, which was a super talented team, way more talented than the record showed. But to be down, to battle back, slug it out back and forth, and come out with a hard-fought victory on the road, again, was another great lesson for our kids. And so it was, I think we could go down the line all the way to the end, and even in the Sarah win, and say that, there's a lot of things along the way that we learned about ourselves. Tremendous job. As the season went on, they definitely got stronger. Defense is a little bit different than offense. In defense, you're reacting to what you see, and then on offense, you're actually executing. And so I thought that the preparation and the teaching and the development of that group, because defense is about 11 guys, doing their job and filling their gaps and getting to the ball and making things happen. And again, I'll point to the Sarah game when I think we probably played our best defense against what I consider to be a really, really talented team. I think they've lost 35, 37 games at home in 17 years or whatever it is. I'm not quite sure what the stat is, but they haven't lost a lot. And quarterback was super talented. And, I thought we played great team defense, but I got great coaches, and they do a great job. And again, it's players make plays, and part of that is being confident and understanding what you're supposed to do. And coaches did a great job of preparing those guys every week. Well, I've been around some really good coaches. I think the best coaches that I've been around have made the game fun for me when I was playing, have made the game fun for me when I was coaching. I think those coaches that don't take it as life and death. It is a scoreboard. It sometimes you can get enamored with what that scoreboard says, but it's not really true of or indicative of how good you're doing or how well, or I should say, how much better you're getting, But I've also been around coaches where they've let the coaching consume them and define them in terms of the win or loss determines if they were success or failure, or it affects their personality, or it affects the way they work or communicate. And I don't want to be that kind of guy. And football is fun. For me, I laugh joke with my wife all the time and say, I haven't had to get a real job my entire life. I've been around this game since I've been a player. But I also want the kids to understand that we're going to work hard, but we're going to play hard. And I'm going to get on you when I need to get on you, and then I'm going to love you up. And I think that's really a true definition of a good coach: is coach them hard and love them just as hard. And part of that is, like I said, making the game fun, because especially at this age, they can make a mistake or blow a coverage or give up a touchdown, and it can stick with them forever. And we are a team, and part of that family and part of that team is, as a family, sometimes you got to slug it out, and you got some hard things to work through sometimes. But then at the same time, you love your brothers and your sisters and your mom and dad, and that's the environment and the culture that I want in this program. And so in order to do that, you got to love it. Exhilarating. It was eye-opening. It was fun. It was jubilation in the locker room after Sarah. There were disappointments. There were some hard learning lessons that, like any dad or father would have to do. But I think at the end of the day, I would call it a success. Not that we were able to achieve our ultimate goal, but winning a bunch of little battles along the way, hopefully teaching kids how to be better men, better football players, better students, better people. I think that just based on the feedback from our kids, and I think the best testament to your question would be we held our team meeting here last week, and I told them that off-season was going to start on Monday. The collective group got up and cheered when I said the new season starts on Monday. And so there's a fire and a passion and excitement about hopefully where this program is headed and what we'll be able to accomplish.